For years, gardeners have been told that coffee grounds are a miracle amendment for soil. They are rich in nitrogen, fine in texture, and, well, free if you drink coffee or collect them from local shops. But here's the truth most people don't realize when used the old way. Dumped straight onto the soil surface or mixed in too heavily, coffee grounds can actually harm your garden instead of helping it. I learned this the hard way after seeing stunted seedlings, waterlogged soil, and even mold patches. That's when I stopped treating coffee grounds as a quick fix and started using them properly. This simple change completely reversed the problems and turned coffee grounds into one of the best soil boosters I use today. The biggest mistake gardeners make is scattering coffee grounds in thick layers on top of the soil or digging them directly into planting holes. Coffee grounds are extremely fine and packed together tightly. When left as a surface layer, they dry out, crust over, and create a barrier that repels water. Instead of soaking into the soil, rainfall or irrigation runs off like water on pavement, starving the roots below. Mixed too heavily into the soil, they can also interfere with root growth. The grounds are high in nitrogen on paper, but that nitrogen isn't immediately available to plants. Microbes need to break the material down first, and in the process they temporarily lock up nutrients. If you dig large amounts of fresh grounds into a bed, plants may yellow and stall because the nutrients are being tied up by decomposition. This is why some gardeners swear coffee grounds ruined their crops. It wasn't the grounds themselves, but the way they were applied. The first fix is to stop thinking of coffee grounds as a standalone amendment and start treating them like any other green compost ingredient. Grounds are about 2% nitrogen by weight, which makes them a strong green material. To break down properly, they need to be balanced with browns like dried leaves, shredded cardboard, or straw. A good ratio is 1 part coffee grounds to 2 parts browns. This keeps the pile from getting slimy and ensures the microbes have the right carbon to nitrogen balance. When used this way, coffee grounds actually heat up the compost pile beautifully. They provide a steady food source for microbes, which in turn accelerates decomposition. After a few weeks in the pile, the grounds lose their clumping tendency and turn into a dark, crumbly humus that blends smoothly into the soil. For example, if I collect a 5-gallon bucket of coffee grounds from a cafe, I layer it into my compost with 10 gallons of shredded leaves or straw. By the time the pile finishes, the result is balanced compost that no longer behaves like raw grounds. Another effective method is to incorporate coffee grounds into mulch instead of applying them alone. Grounds on their own can form that crusty, water-repelling layer I mentioned earlier, but when blended with bulkier material, they behave very differently. I like to take 1 part coffee grounds and mix it with 3 parts shredded leaves, bark, or even grass clippings. Spread as a mulch, this blend retains moisture, prevents weeds, and slowly feeds the soil as it breaks down. In my vegetable beds, I'll top dress around tomatoes and peppers with this mix. The grounds add nitrogen and feed soil microbes, while the leaves and bark keep the mulch loose and breathable. Water filters through easily, and the mulch decomposes into the topsoil over the season. By fall, the mulch layer has mostly melted into the bed, leaving behind a richer, darker soil for the next crop. Earthworms are a gardener's best friend, and they happen to love coffee grounds when they're provided in the right form. Too much can create acidic, anaerobic conditions that repel them, but blended into compost or mulch, the grounds become worm food. In worm bins, I add grounds sparingly, no more than a cup or 2 at a time, mixed with shredded paper or cardboard. The worms swarm to them, breaking them down quickly and enriching the castings with added nutrients. In outdoor beds, I scatter small amounts of grounds under a leaf mulch layer rather than leaving them exposed. This way, worms encounter them naturally as they move through the soil. The result is more worm activity, better aeration, and faster incorporation of organic matter into the root zone. The fix for using coffee grounds is to think of them as part of a system rather than a single-shot amendment. They are not a fertilizer you dump straight into the soil, but a resource that needs to be blended, balanced, and allowed to decompose. Whether composted first, mixed into mulch, or fed gradually to worms, coffee grounds work best when combined with other organic matter. For example, one of the most effective systems I use now is to layer grounds, leaves, and kitchen scraps directly into raised beds at the end of the season. Over winter, the materials break down in place, and by spring I have a fresh layer of organic rich soil ready for planting. The coffee grounds provide steady nitrogen throughout the process, but because they're balanced with carbon materials, they never compact or repel water. Coffee grounds can either create headaches or become one of your best soil-building tools. The difference comes down to how you use them. Dumped raw onto the soil, they form barriers and lock up nutrients. But composted with browns, blended into mulch, or offered sparingly to worms, they transform into a slow-release source of fertility and a boost for soil life. If you've been disappointed by coffee grounds in the past, don't give up on them. Just change your approach. This fix turns a common waste product into a garden ally that builds healthier soil year after year. And if this guide has helped you see coffee grounds in a new way, make sure to subscribe to Soil Doctor and share this video with other gardeners looking for practical, proven methods to improve their soil.